Let's talk about the elephant in the room feeling you get when you think you're making the grandest bar of soap ever, only to find out that that fragrance oil you chose is terrible. It either sucks, disappears completely, or worst case scenario, your customer smells it, puts it down after making the face and walks away. I've tested many a fragrance in my day, as you already know if you follow along with my fragrance oil spreadsheet. More on that a little bit later into the video. I really wanted to share some of my favorite fragrances for soap making, the kind that really stand the test of time, pass the customer test, and have become their favorite. You may consider some of them kind of like a standard or a staple as far as soap making goes, but I guarantee you there will be at least some that you have never considered using before. Honestly, everyone buys that classic, that standard. Don't be afraid to use a classic fragrance just because everyone else already has one. They're customer favorites and they're classics and they're staples for a reason. And they sell just as much, if not more, than unique fragrances do. In case you hadn't considered this, I'll leave you with this thought before we actually dive into the fragrances. Consider this: when your customers are shopping, they are more likely to pick up a fragrance they are already familiar with, especially if you are selling online. If you have an oatmeal and honey soap and a customer is looking for an oatmeal and honey soap, they don't need to smell it in person. They can buy it from you online because they already know what that fragrance smells like. Those classic fragrances are the easiest ones to bring new customers to you that eventually turn into repeat customers. They trust that fragrance and in turn will buy it from you and trust you moving forward. Just a little bit of food for thought. Now, in no particular order, here are my favorite fragrances for cold process soap. The only order in particular is the last two that I'm going to share with you have been my best sellers. Let's keep this conversation going in the comments below and share some wins with each other. Drop a link to your soap shop, and more particularly or more specifically, drop a link to your best-selling bar. You never know who's going through and combing the comments for their new favorites. Starting off with one that I think just really truly brightens a room, no pun intended with the name, but it is the Bright Sunshine Fragrance Oil from Simbi Fragrance. This one has been a staple in my personal handmade business since I started and found Simbi. It is just really nice. It's very bright. It's very fun. Unfortunately, I don't have any right now. I ordered some, but I haven't gotten it yet. So I am out currently at this time. All I have is one little candle left of it. It smells so great. It's just a really nice, fresh, not overly feminine fragrance that people buy all the time. I have made this soap, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 times now, and it sells out every time. I do make mine exfoliating with fine ground walnut shells in it, and everyone really truly seems to love it. So that is one fabulous fragrance. Next up, this one is super popular for wholesale orders and specifically promotional product companies. It is Pink Mimosa from Brambleberry. This one is very fun, and I think that a big attraction to it is the colors that I use. They're very bright for it, but it smells so great, and the smell really does last for a long time. The next one is Daydreamer, which is also from Simbi Fragrance. This one is just very clean. It's very fresh. I love it. It's very feminine. I've ordered multiple bottles of it at this point. This soap scent in particular does really great at markets. Not so much online, but it truly does smell very, very good. And once people, it's the kind of fragrance where once people smell it, they want to continue to buy products in that fragrance. One of the classics, of course, would be Oatmeal and Honey. Mine is from Wholesale Supplies Plus, though they do sell it in many different fragrance, or they do sell it from many different fragrance companies. The Oatmeal and Honey smells so, so good. It's really nice, very fresh. And it tends to do well online, in person, really anywhere. Because again, it's one of those classic fragrances. People don't have to guess whether or not they're going to like it. They already know what it smells like and they know it's what they want. Next up is called Positano from Simbi. I don't call it that. I actually call it rose quartz. It's become very, very popular online. I do put like the fragrance notes in there for my soaps, but it has become really popular in like my Facebook group that I sell soap in and online. I think because when I first made it, I cut the bar and like saw that the inside of the soap, like the swirl, ended up being like this face kind of thing. I'm gonna put the video over here so you can see it. But it kind of, you know, sometimes you find like a hidden image in your soap, and that was one that I have found that sticks out to me. So once I said that, people were really interested in it, and now it's become like a repeat purchase for them because it smells really, really good. And Coconut Soleil from Candle Sign. That is another one that I turned into an exfoliating bar. And I actually have more than one video on it because the first time I made it, it went terribly. And then I remade it and adjusted everything. So it worked out. So that's very, very interesting if you'd like to see how that happened. It smells very good. It's classic coconut fragrance, but not like a creamy coconut, like a coconut, if that makes sense. It's become very, very popular online, I think because of the design, and then people repurchase it saying that they like the way that it smells. It also did really well at markets. I haven't had it in a while just because I'm not like a winter coconut fragrance person, but now that it's warming up, I am going to bring that bar back. Okay, here are my top two that I was saving for last. Drum roll, please. The first one is Peach Prosecco from Brambleberry, and the second is Lavender Haze from Simbi. I have made those bars multiple times. I have made multiple loaves, and they are always, especially the lavender, almost gone immediately. The Lavender Haze, I no longer make a small loaf of just because like they truly, truly go very fast for me. Again, it's one of those classic fragrances, but the Lavender Haze from Simbi, it has like a different kind of twist to it. It's not straight lavender. It's not lavender with vanilla. It's not lavender with cedar. It's just like a beautiful, beautiful blend of lavender, and it's become extremely popular in all of my body products, but especially the bar soaps. And then the Peach Prosecco, it just smells so good. I love that fragrance. It's one that I end up repurchasing over and over again. They all soak wonderfully. The only thing I will say, if you're using the Lavender Haze from Simbi, you do need to use the cold processed soap vanilla stabilizer. You can get that from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I know they have it at a bunch of different places, but you will need a stabilizer. Otherwise, it will turn like a brownish in your soap. But if you use the stabilizer, then it will be totally fine. But I definitely recommend that you use that if you're planning on using the Lavender Haze fragrance and you don't want that like natural colorant. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I do have a fragrance oil spreadsheet that can help you ensure that you're getting the most out of your fragrances and kind of like walk you through how each fragrance specifically reacts in cold process soap so you don't waste anything while you're making it. Here. So if you're looking for a resource in that area, I would definitely recommend it. It is in the $5 and the $10 tier of my Patreon. It is in both the $5 tier and the $10 tier of my Patreon, which you can find linked down in the description box below. And that way you can keep it forever. It is a growing list, so I do update it each time I try a new fragrance oil, which is pretty often. Now, while you wait for the next video, first subscribe. Then you can watch these two videos here, the best and worst fragrance oils from different suppliers from the past 2 years. I really like doing those videos, and I am truly honest in them. I don't exclude a brand just because I like it more. There are fragrances that I love and fragrances that I really don't from each of these suppliers. So I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, leave your shop linked in the comments below, and I'll see you around. Bye.